All right, a new toy, AMC SX4 two-door. Bought it, ran like crap. Now it doesn't run at all because I was messing around with the wiring. So this is the contraption that the previous owner ran. It's the HEI distributor. It's got the built-in coil, which I don't mind. You know, they work. They're great. It's a good aftermarket option, but I decided I'm not going to run this. I want something that looks a little more OEM. So I have the engine set to top dead center. Got me a new distributor. This isn't the original one, but it's very similar to it. It's OEM spec, but it's got the stator instead of the points. And the plug right there should be plug and play. So I got the engine set to top dead center already. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. All right, got that surface cleaned off. Got the engine set to top dead center. A couple ways to check. Pull the number one spark plug, which I already did, and see if the piston is all the way at the top. But the owner's manual prefers you go down here and check it. These lines, this is advancement degrees. So that's lined up. Piston one's all the way at the top, so I know for certain that this engine's at top dead center. Now we can take our new distributor. I got the new gasket in place. And if you look down in there, might not see very well. That little flathead screwdriver looking thing, that's your oil pump. So what we need to do is make sure it is orientated correctly with a distributor. And I already have it set to number one, which is right about here. And the distributor sits about here. And you can see, so it sits at about a 45-degree angle. And that is not even close. So we gotta take our handy dandy flathead screwdriver, turn it around until we get it lined up properly. All right, got the oil pump lined up, and these teeth, they glide onto the camshaft. So I'm gonna clock it back about a tooth or so, and then guide it in. The reason why I do that is because when you put it in, those synchronized teeth are gonna twist this rotor. By the time you get it down, you see that? It just rotated. And looks like we're still a little bit off, so I gotta pull it back out. It's one of those things, you gotta keep playing with it until you get it just right. All right, got the distributor in place. Got it set off camera, sorry about that, but you get the idea. So the rotor is facing the passenger side wheel, and it's perfectly 90 degrees. Now we can go ahead and get the distributor clamp on, and then put the distributor cap on. All right, got the clamp in place, tightened it. It's a 1/2-inch bolt on these vehicles. But you don't want to tighten it too much. You still want to be able to turn it back and forth a little bit so we can adjust the timing while it's idling. Then we'll come back and tighten it later. Next step is to get the distributor cap on. And I've had this on before, that's why the wires are on here. And this one has a label on it. Not sure if you can see that. Number one. And it sits about like this. You want to make sure the rotor lines up with number one since the engine is still on top dead. So there's number one right there. You want to make sure so it sits like this. So the cap sits here, and this is number one. We'll make sure it's lined up, and it looks like it is. All right, so we'll go ahead and get the distributor cap tightened down, then we'll get the coil wire hooked up, and then we'll wire up the coil. All right, got all the plug wires hooked up. So if you're wondering what the firing order is, this is a 4.2 inline 6, same as a Jeep 4.0 liters. AMC design, and they all have the same firing order. So for those of you that are curious what the firing order is, here you go. So you start with 1, 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. And that's your firing order. And I got all that set up, so we're done with that part. Now, the fun part, getting the electrical figured out. And I'm still looking into that. I plan on doing what's called a nutter bypass. So on these AMCs, you have this, which is the ICM, or ignition control module is what it stands for. And you also have the ECU, the engine computer unit. I didn't know these had ECUs, but apparently they do. It's on the passenger side kick plate, right underneath the dash. These two units they control the timing advanced on the distributor, which I no longer have the original one. And the ECU gets a signal from the ICM deciding whether it should advance timing or retard timing depending on the temperature of the engine. So at cold start, the ECU will retard the timing to get it warmed up. Once it's warmed up, it'll go ahead and advance the timing. So basically this is the early stages of idle air control, but they're not very reliable and they're very finicky, and I don't want computer controlled timing on this. But luckily you can run this the old school way and just bypass all that together. You still need this according to the nutter bypass, but that's a huge upgrade rather than running it stock or with the timing computer. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and go that route because I have no luck getting this thing started yet. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research and resplice a few wires, do something with this mess, and then I'll tell you guys what I come up with. All right, here it is the next day. I just got everything temporarily twisted together. So these two, you keep these. This is the original connector, and this goes to the original connector on the ICM. So these stay untouched. This, however, you're gonna wanna cut the light green wire. It might be different on yours, and for some reason the colors don't match on this. So I've seen the nutter bypass before. What some guys do, they get rid of this plug altogether. So if you're to cut the plug off, you want to go ahead and color match it. So purple to purple down here, orange with orange, and green to green. But I want this to be serviceable, so I decided to keep the plug. And that being the case, these colors aren't going to match. So you want light green with orange. I'm going by the locations of the prongs on the connector. So if you look, orange and purple. So purple has been cut because for some reason there's only 3 wires on this connector, and I'm hoping I could change that, because if you look inside the connector, it does have the metal prong inside there. So I'm going to figure out what I can do with that instead of having this. But for now, I just got purple to purple. I bypassed the connector altogether. Got orange to light green, which goes back to orange. And then I have black, which goes along with the orange and purple on the distributor connector. So black, you do not cut. You keep black where it is. And black goes to, looks like black goes to black on the connector. So those two match at least. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I decided to go off of the original ICM. I do have a new one, but the color has been mixed matched on the new one. So I used the old one as a reference just to make sure everything works. I haven't tested it with the new one yet, but this one still works, it seems like. So I'm just going to leave it for now. So just give you guys an example. I did adjust the distributor too. Runs a lot better, doesn't run perfect, still doesn't want to idle, but idles a lot smoother and it's a lot easier to keep running. Pump the pedal, just dies on its own. But I think that's just a carburetor or vacuum issue. But idle's a lot smoother. So it runs a lot better, as you guys can see. But still needs a little bit of work. I'm going to replace the intake gasket. And next order of business, I need to get all these vacuum lines disconnected. A lot of this crap doesn't even go to anything. Or it did, but not sure where. But a lot of stuff is just unnecessary. So I'm just going to delete it all and just keep it simple. Some of these might be important. Like that, I think that's a charcoal canister. That can probably go. That's for emissions, which something this old, I don't need emissions. But so in a nutshell, you got purple to purple, orange to light green on the connector, then it goes back to orange, then black to black. Black remains uncut. Black goes directly to the distributor connector along with the orange and purple, which those remain uncut on this side. And then this remains untouched as well. And this dark green wire used to go to the ECU inside the vehicle, which is no longer active. So I took this wire, it's a jungle in here. So this green wire basically just goes straight to the negative side on the coil. And then you got this yellow wire that goes to the positive side of the coil. That goes straight to the starter solenoid right here, which is power. So yellow is power and green is ground, which is what these are as well. But these go to a different destination. Not sure exactly where, but according to the nutter bypass, those remain untouched. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Next thing I want to do is get these soldered up. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, got this one soldered up. Put the heat shrink on it. Alright, now it's got to shrink that down and figure out what I need to do about this wire. I took the plug off. Can't tell if there's a metal prong in there. Probably not, but I'm just going to drill a hole in the backside and then, I don't know, figure something out. On the purple wire now. I drilled me a 9/64 hole. I cleaned out the female side a little bit and I fed the wire through. Fits perfectly. So now, I'm going to take me one of these and it should fit inside of here. I'm going to crimp it down on the wire here. Maybe cut it off fresh first and see if it fits. Hopefully it'll fit nice and snug, which I think it will. All right, got the hole cleaned out. Got the connector in there. Fits nice and snug. Now I got this ready for solder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Got the heat shrink already on. Be sure you put that on before you solder that. I know that from experience. So I'm going to knock that out real quick and then we'll see if it works. All right, got the wires cut down a little bit. I decided to cut them at the same length, roughly, just so it gives it a cleaner look. Got them all heat shrinked up. Look really nice. Go ahead and get these back on the coil. So as yellow is with positive, which on mine, positive's here, and negative, which is green. Green is usually ground on these older vehicles. So I'm gonna get those put on real quick. All right, coil wires are attached. Ran them nice and neatly. I have wire loom. I'll take care of that later. One more time. Wait a minute. All right, sweet. All right, that takes care of that.